Hello, welcome to NatChat. I'm Dave McLaughlin, and my guests today are Elizabeth Sapel and her son David from the AussieHands Foundation. Hello Elizabeth,
Hi,
welcome
David.
to the program.
Thank you for having us.
Now, first of all, tell us what is AussieHands and how did it start?
AussieHands is a support group for children and adults that have a hand difference. Medical research has indicated that there are 17 congenital hand anomalies, and every year children are born with one of these congenital hand anomalies all over the world. AussieHands came about when David was born in April 1999. And he was born with his 3 middle fingers missing from his right hand. And at the time of his birth, my husband and I were quite keen to meet another family who had a child with a hand difference, or even better, an adult with a hand difference. With this frustration, my husband and I decided to set up AussieHands, and it was incorporated in the year 2000. And the following year we became a charitable organisation and also a tax-deductible organisation as well.
So when David was born, did you expect him to have a hand difference? Did they pick it up in the ultrasound?
No, it wasn't picked up in the ultrasound. However, during my pregnancy I had a maternal instinct that something may have been wrong with my baby, but kept dismissing it. And of course, when he was born, I was slightly relieved to see that, you know, well, I was thinking the right thing, but of course I was upset to see that he had some missing fingers.
Have you found that that he's developed, you know, as well as any normal child?
Yes, indeed. David's a very determined little boy. At a very young age, he insisted on doing a lot of little tasks on his own, like putting his own belt on in the capsule. And also, when he was in grade prep, he could tie his shoelaces quite at an early age. So he's still very determined and gives everything a go. And sometimes he's too determined. I think he has no fear in most cases.
Because I think often these days people think of congenital deformities as being some big thing that they've, you know, somehow got to get rid of. But in most cases, particularly with hand differences, the children born with them are quite capable of living a normal life and doing virtually anything.
That's right. They adapt very quickly, which is remarkable. Yeah.
And he, I believe, had to have an operation when he was young too.
Yes, yes. When David was 10 months old, because he didn't have a bone in his lower thumb, the hand surgeons at the Royal Children's Hospital took a bone out of his little middle toe on his right foot and inserted it and fused it into his thumb. And he wore plaster for about 3 weeks, which coincided with him crawling and beginning to walk, and that has certainly helped him with picking up things and manoeuvring it to do certain tasks. So it was quite successful, and every year he has a checkup, and the hand surgeons just monitor how he's getting on. So it was quite successful.
And you brought along, I believe, the plaster you wore when you were young.
Yes,
if you want
I did.
Show it to us.
Yes, I might give you a little peek. Well, this is the original plaster that, of course, I wore around my elbow. It's pretty small. It's smaller than my arm is now. And yeah, so I wore this for about 3 weeks, 6 weeks, you know. And I also had these, I don't know if you can see them, but they had these needles, like these pins. They stuck it through my thumb to keep the plaster coating.
And the bone as well.
Yeah, in the bone, and yeah, so that's pretty much it.
It sounds quite impressive. Were you actually, can you actually remember it at the time? Because you were quite young?
Well, not really. I was pretty young then, so not really, but I wish I could. But, you know.
So there's quite a lot they can do to make it easier for people born with hand differences.
The
in
hand
the way of
surgeons
operation.
are quite remarkable in how they can come up with these solutions to problems where children are born either with their fingers fused, or they have missing fingers, or they're born with a stump. So quite often you may have a child that has a toe-to-hand transfer, and there have been successful operations as well, and children go along and are able to sort of cope very well.
And in most cases, with all the differences, the children develop quite well
Yes,
later on.
they do. Yeah, they do.
What other sorts of David's got, the 3 fingers in his hand missing. What other sorts of hand differences are there? Are there people born with totally no fingers?
Yes.
And how are they able to cope?
Hand surgeons may suggest toe-to-hand transfer in that case, but obviously parents have to make those decisions. And the good thing about Aussie Hands that a lot of the parents that do come together, they can share that information with parents of a new child with a hand difference. And also we are very privileged to have adults who are members of Aussie Hands that have either not have had operations or who have, and who can share this experience with parents.
So that's very important, you think, to have those experiences of other people in your situation.
Definitely. I think you're all in the same boat, and you can really relate to the situation a lot more. And I think having the adults who can share that information, particularly if they haven't or have had an operation, also, they can just express how they've lived through life socially as well, because that impacts obviously as the child grows up through school and through work.
So obviously when you had David, there wasn't that support, or you found it hard to find?
Yeah, I found it quite difficult to meet other children with a hand difference or adults. Initially we joined Limb Kids in Victoria and Tasmania. The group was based in Melbourne, in Albury actually, but that was more for limb differences on legs and arms, upper limbs. So as I said earlier, with the frustration of not being able to access anyone with a hand difference, my husband and I sort of formed Aussie Hands in October 2000, and since then we now have a membership of 50 families nationally, and members can access the website that was launched in 2005 at the Royal Children's Hospital, and there's a facility there where parents can talk to other families who have children or adults with a hand difference, and also people visiting the website can access information on equipment or resources or medical information as well.
Have you found the internet to be very useful for getting in touch with other people with like-minded problems?
Yes, definitely. That the internet is a great source now. A lot of people use it daily. And since we launched the website in 2005, our membership has increased. In December 2007, we embarked on our first Raising Awareness campaign, where we circulated information brochures Australia-wide, and that has certainly increased interstate membership as well.
Do you think that that it would have been more difficult to found a support network without the internet?
I think so, yes. I think because it's such a modern tool now, and people do use it all the time to do their shopping and all other things, facets in life. So yeah, definitely I think the internet has been quite crucial to raise awareness for Aussie Hands.
On that note, we have to go for a short break. You're watching NatChat. Join us again after the break.